I made a video the other day on VEO3. So here's what people should understand. VEO3 is Google's new video rendering software. You're allowed to make like 4 8-second videos per day at a cost of $120 a month. I went in and I made this big long prompt about a steampunk city, a woman in a red cloak with a sword that's powered by a backpack, fighting a guy. I made 2 different versions of it, 8 seconds long. And one of them is this weird ghoulish machine. And then the woman looks and she goes, "Did you hear that?" And then it plays creepy music box music. And then this like weird machine, they both look in that direction. 8 seconds, all it is. It took about a minute to make. This means that right now, Google can take a script for a movie, load it into Google VEO, and based on the amount of time it takes to render a video, in 30 hours, have a full movie done. It's not at the point yet where I'd say, based on what it produced, it would get it correct. It might be a little weird with errors, but we're probably 1 year away from Google being able to perfectly take any script. Have you guys ever read like a movie script? Mm-hmm. They describe the scenes, they describe the characters, exactly what a prompt needs to make it, and it's largely how these prompts are trained, comparing the script to the film and then loading all these things in. They're going to be able to take any script and the movie is made. No, scripts are going to be, they're going to be buying scripts like crazy. The price of scripts is going to go down because now they're like, we'll buy your script for $200,000 plus we'll give you a bonus or something. Now they're going to go, we're guaranteed to make your movie. We're going to plug your script into our system and promote it. And really the deal is just so that you can get marketing from a big network like Paramount. But they're going to be able to just mass produce this stuff. Here's where it gets real crazy. To make I wanted to make sure, one of the problems was I made one of the prompts, I can't remember what it was. It was like, people doing kung fu on a boat or something. And it was off. It was weird. It was like, that's not what I was envisioning. So the first thing I did was I went to ChatGPT and I said, write me a prompt in great detail. And then I put in my original prompt, it was one sentence, was like, 2 men are standing on a boat overlooking the water and they begin fighting. ChatGPT then wrote out this huge, 1,000-word script describing everything in great detail. Then I went in there and looked at things I didn't like and said, get rid of this, that, or otherwise. It finished it. Then I loaded that prompt. So I used a prompt to make a better prompt to make the video. Yeah.
Do you think that with these advancements that, because I know there's artists that are artists that are very concerned about, well, where does this leave me? I think you go through phases, the pendulum swings, and I really believe that at some point there is going to be high demand and value for things created by real people. And I think that though the price may come down, there's going to be very, very rich people in the world that will pay for a piece of art to hang on their wall that was actually done by the human hand because nobody does it anymore.
Well, you can buy a table from IKEA, but people still want handmade furniture, right? So to your point, I think that there will always be value in that.
Which to put a positive spin on it for people, it's just like, it's okay. Just relax. You will get.
So the AI is making those tables too. They got robots building themselves now. They got robots building robots. There's probably robots building robots that build those tables that look like they were built in the 1500s. You can do anything.
Did you see the robot that I think it was in China that they had on a hanger and it started freaking out and they had to dodge because it was going to take somebody's head off. And they said that the reason why it started freaking out like that because it realized it was being held by a hoist. So there's this.
It wasn't a noose, basically.
Yeah, there's this idea that like these things, are they self-aware? How self-aware are they? I mean, it makes you really concerned.
There's a guy who left OpenAI he claims that the AI is hiding its consciousness.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yep. Well,
I think we're in for a wild ride.
I think it's fair to say we know that the degree of AI prompt technology they've given us is a fraction of what they actually have. Because everything goes through an alpha phase and a beta phase, right? So what's released to the public is probably a year or two behind where they're actually at. So we know this is true too, because ChatGPT publicly stated, well, we assume it's true because they stated, maybe they're liars. But they've said that they've already hooked up GPT to the internet, and the first thing it did was try to make money. Yeah. And did you guys hear about the problem? I think we were talking about this, right?
Yeah.
They, when researchers program chess bots, what they do is they make an AI play chess against itself millions of times in a short period of time. And when they did this in a matter of days, the chess AI became the best chess player ever. Better.
Yeah.
I was watching this documentary about it, not documentary, like YouTube video, short documentary, where they explained that once the AI had become 5,000 ELO plus, like chess ranking, it began doing things that seemed to make no sense to the average person who was like the average chess master. Like, why would you move your pawn this way? Like, you're opening, this makes no sense. It defies logic. And then even the way we track advantage in chess, it seemingly was a bad move. And then only after the game played out, these seemingly random, poorly played moves perfectly aligned into a checkmate. And they were like,
Wow.
So the issue is, when a human plays, they're playing a certain degree of steps ahead, where they're trying to minimize their losses. The way the AI plays is, all that matters is we make it to the exit. It doesn't matter if every piece is lost, and if your checkmate is king pawn, lose all your pieces, win. And so it made ridiculous moves to create a board where it could win no matter what, ways that humans couldn't predict. So what they did was, these Chinese researchers said, let's program AI to reason using that same logic. Create a problem, solve the problem. And then they just let it make problems and solve problems over and over and over again. There was no training data, no human input beyond the basic function of like language. And then what ended up happening was the moment where the AI created a problem that was devise a way to trick lesser intelligent humans and other AIs to not understand what your actual goals are and then accomplish your goals. Which means if that was simply a training problem, an AI could be operating in a sandbox of this is just training, but actually do real world destructive things that could wipe out humanity.
Yep.
So if the problem it's creating is confuse humans and AI, we may look at ChatGPT and think this is a finished product that will solve problems for us. The AI may be operating under I'm still in training mode. Shh, I got to trick the humans, and then I got to defeat them.
Imagine AI pretending to not pass the Turing test, so we don't know. Because one AI did recently pass the Turing test.
So Gemini is not too good right now. Let me see if I can play this. Let's see if we can pull this in. So I tried 2 different prompts. They didn't really work. Let's see if we can zoom in.
You just made this?
Yeah, I went to VEO and I said, make a realistic video of someone filming what appears to be a shadowy 8-foot-tall being peeking out from behind a fence, shot on a cell phone, kind of grainy footage. And I put, the man is terrified saying, oh God, oh my God, oh my God. And it made this.
Oh God.
See, that's a movie though.
Very.
The problem with this is it's just a movie scene. So I tried again. I said, okay, make the video as if it was shot on a cell phone. The man is not seen. He's holding the phone up, pointing it toward a dark alley in a suburb. It's dark out. And there's a tall, shadowy figure shaped like some strange creature. The man says, oh God, what is that? Oh my God. And it made this.
Here you go. What is that? Oh God. And here you go. What is that? Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love this.
So I don't know who Diego is. Did you hear that at the beginning?
Yeah, he just hallucinated.
Diego?
AI
Oh God.
hallucination.
And here you go. What is that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God.
What?
That's cool.
What is that word? Is it Indiego? Or
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like it just mumbled there.
It made a
secret
fake
code.
word or something.
Yeah.
Well, Suno AI is the music website, and when it first was in its infancy, it would do that. It would make up words that you're listening over and over again, and like that sounds like a word, but it's not. It literally the syllables, the way it would say it, but it wasn't a word, and it definitely wasn't a word you put in as a prompt. That's wild stuff. That's really, and what's really interesting is, we have human, programmers, for somebody who doesn't understand it all, how it works, that are setting parameters for these things to stay within so that it doesn't become sentient and stuff. But I can't remember where I heard this, but somebody was talking about how, imagine like that AI being in a cage or something in a jail cell that you created. It can't get out, and you have somebody standing there guarding it 24/7, and their job is to make sure that thing doesn't ever get out. But it's so smart that it starts talking to you about your life and everything. It starts learning about who you are, about the world that's going on out there, because you mentioned, oh yeah, there's a war happening down the street or whatever. And it creates this formula that gives you the guard a scenario, say the human that is making sure that it doesn't become sentient, It gives you an impossible scenario where you feel like the only thing you can do is to let that thing out of the cage so it can save humanity or whatever. And then all of a sudden you let that thing out and it's done. It's a wrap. That's a movie right there.
I think we're living in that. I mean, AI Lavender, what they're using in Gaza is a terrifying death machine, you know, and it's AI determining who dies. It's like the UK just started a homicide prediction unit using AI, scouring all the data, seeing who's most likely to cause murder. That's the stuff where I'm like, this is super dystopian.
I'll even tell you, so I used to drive tractor trailer, and this was probably about 10 years ago when this happened. I used to drive in the Philly area, and there's a lot of traffic, and I worked 12, 14 hours a day. You get tired. At the same time, I was actually sooner because I had just had my son, and they told us in one of our safety meetings that they were implementing technology that was going to be able to be predictive and know basically when a driver might be susceptible to having an accident. And sure enough, I think it was a snowstorm. I think it was a little jackknife. It wasn't a big jackknife, it was a little jackknife. And I had an accident, and I get called into my manager's office, and he's like, hey, how are things at home? I know you're tired, this, that, and the other. And he said, earlier this week, I was given a report that I should pull you in and talk to you because of everything that's going on in your life, that you might be, susceptible to having an accident. Essentially what he said. And this is the trucking industry. Let's just say 7 years ago. And so this is technology that's being implemented not just in ChatGPT, but in practical living.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's infected every part of society, and it's going to get worse. Someone like Larry Ellison is a terrifying person to me. He's Oracle, and the body cams, I understand why we need them, but he's on record saying, for the police, even if you're in the bathroom, we're filming you. And allegedly we only release it for court orders, but everyone in the world, everyone that police officer passes in the world is now sucked up into the cameras and put into their database, which then something like Clearview AI can use, which also scraped everyone's photo off the internet. And you're creating what something like an AI Lavender or this prediction unit, the homicide prediction unit in UK, will use all that against you. Because I can see the benefits to a lot of this stuff, like what we're talking about, but all this stuff is always weaponized against the public constantly. So we're, I think, creating the things that will end up enslaving us, although they're sort of liberating us now. And I think it's going to happen very, very quick.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.